I recently shared in a video that I did a low buy year and that during that year I had such a strong itch to declutter, especially my clothes. But here's the thing, I seem to always declutter my clothes. It seems like every single year I have this massive spring clean and I'm still left with that feeling of wanting to declutter. So what gives? Throughout my low buy year, as I was observing what clothes I was using and what things I was wearing, I realised that I'd approached decluttering completely wrong. So in the past, I've used the Marie Kondo or KonMari method for decluttering. If you've not heard of Marie Kondo, she has a Netflix show and she wrote the book The Life-Changing Magic of Tidying Up. Her approach to decluttering with clothes is that you get all of your clothes out of your wardrobes and out of your drawers, and one by one you go through each item, picking it up and asking yourself, does this item spark joy? If the answer is yes, then you keep it, and if it doesn't, then you get rid of it. It sounds really simple, and I love the idea of having joy and being really intentional, so I really did think that this method would work for me. But I have two problems with this method, and I think these are the reasons why it's never worked for me. The first is that it's just really overwhelming. If you're like me, it means that you have loads of clothes, and that means that you have so many items to sift through, and that can be really, really draining. And then the second reason is it's a lot of decision making, and I'm somebody who hates decision making. I think it's really easy to get decision fatigue by doing this. And I also found that I was able to justify every single item because it wasn't an instinctive yes or no, this does spark joy. I would find reasons for why something did bring joy. So in today's video, I want to share the audit method, which is the process that I use to declutter my wardrobe. And I should say from the get-go that I wasn't trying to cut down my wardrobe to be really minimalistic. I wasn't trying to cut down to a 33-piece wardrobe or anything like that, because I feel like that would have been me forcing it. I wanted something that was just intentional and natural to me, and making sure that all the clothes that I had were things that I would wear and things that I really, really love to wear. Before you even start the decluttering process, have a period of time where you just don't buy anything whatsoever and audit what you currently wear. So I did this for a year where I had a low buy year, but you could just do it for a month. So a month of not bringing anything else into your wardrobe and seeing what you already have. And eventually you should start to notice patterns. So you should be able to look at the things that you're never wearing and notice what those things have in common. And likewise, the things that you do wear, what did they have in common? So this could be things like colors, thickness, fit, or even the thickness of the clothing. What clothes made you feel great and what clothes made you feel like crap? What did they have in common? By doing this, you build an understanding of what you actually like and what type of wardrobe would actually serve you. So based on that experience, I then made two lists. The first list was a list of all the clothing items that I already owned that I really, really loved and wore on such a regular basis. And then my second list was specific rules or observations that I had made during my audit. So for example, on my audit list was the fact that I preferred mum jeans over skinny jeans, that I preferred leggings over joggers, and that I preferred sweatshirts over hoodies. And I also made a list of things like what colours I tended to go for as well. Once I had these two lists made, I finally started that decluttering process. And instead of getting all of my clothes out at once like Marie Kondo does, instead I focused on one drawer at a time. So as soon as I opened my drawer, rather than focusing on one item at a time, I actually took out all of the items that I knew I loved and was wearing on a regular basis. And basically these were the clothes that was on my first list. I took them out and folded them on my bed, of course in the Marie Kondo style. These were the things that I knew I would keep and didn't even have to question because they were already things that I'd been wearing up until that point. And then everything else that was in that drawer I put on the floor. And at first I thought that I should go through every single item one by one just like Marie Kondo does. But the thing is, I knew that most of these clothes were things that I wasn't already wearing or didn't enjoy wearing as much. So it felt like a bit of a waste of time to do that. Instead, I actually put pretty much all of these clothes straight into some bags to give away to charity. The only exception was if any of these pieces of clothing followed the rules from the second list. Did they follow the pattern that I'd already observed for things that I liked? And if they did, I asked myself, why have I not worn these pieces recently, or why have I not enjoyed wearing them? And if there was a legit reason for it, so for example, the weather's not been right, or it's been locked down so I've not really been able to wear it, then I would keep that item. But if I couldn't find a reason, it would go straight in a bag to give to charity. This made it so much easier to decide what to keep and what not to keep because I'd pretty much done most of the work beforehand anyway. And so this just seemed like a really seamless process. For everything that I wasn't keeping, I put them in bags to give away to charity, and I decided to give away most of my clothes because I didn't really want to have the energy or the time to put into selling them. So I repeated this process for every single one of my drawers and for my rails as well. So it meant that everything that I was keeping clothing was pretty much on my bed neatly folded. Once all of the drawers were done, it was then time to decide where to put all of my clothes into their new home. In the past, I had all of my drawers organized by type of clothing. So for example, I had a drawer for tops and I had a drawer for bottoms.
You're messy.
But I realized that one of the problems with doing this was that I had to go into multiple drawers in order to build one outfit, and that meant that all of my drawers were getting messy at the same time. This was especially annoying considering that most of the time I was wearing the same sort of thing, so I was mostly wearing loungewear a lot of the time. And I realized that I had three main styles. So I had my cozy home loungewear, I had going out day outfits, and going out evening outfits. And the latter of the two I wasn't really wearing often because of lockdown. So I decided to organize all of my drawers by type of outfit instead. So I have a drawer for all of my everyday basics, which has my leggings and all of my basic tops in it. I've got a drawer for all of my gym wear and sweatshirts, and then I have a drawer for all of my going out day outfits. And then I don't really have many going out evening clothes, but all of the ones that I do have are on my rail alongside all of my blouses and jackets. So this means that day to day I'm only really going inside of one drawer to build an outfit, and when it comes to washing and folding my clothes, again I only really have to go back into that one drawer to put them away. I'm sure this will change slightly once we're out of lockdown, but right now this is really working for me, and it also means that less time goes into thinking about what outfits to put together because they're all there in one drawer. Once all of my clothes were neatly folded away into each drawer, I then went through the process one more time. So I opened up each drawer, and it was only then that I scanned through all of the items, and one by one I asked, does this fit in my rules that I made in list 2, and does this item spark joy? And if the answer was no to any of those, that's when I took it out and really considered whether I needed that item. So in the end, I was left with 5 massive bags filled of clothes to give away. And I feel like the best part of this process was that I didn't actually commit too much energy to thinking about what to give away. Instead, most of my energy was on thinking about what to keep. And I feel like this process has really helped me to build the mindset that I need in order to bring new clothes in, because I definitely don't want to reward myself with decluttering by buying loads of outfits. But I do feel like now that I've done this process and know what works for me, it means that if I do buy anything, I feel like it will fit in with my wardrobe a lot better. And I'm hoping by doing that, I won't have to constantly go through the cycle of decluttering my clothes. So what do you think of the audit method, and would you use it the next time you do a massive spring clean? Let me know in the comments down below. Keep intentional and go create some magic in your life.